This is not good.
Ah, yes. Reapers. The apparent ancient machine race that's gonna come and kill us all. I mean, please. Yes, they are. They exist, they're coming. Haven't you played the last 2 games? Enough. And me and the rest of the council members have more to worry about than your delusions. Delusions? What do you mean? They're coming! You hear that? They're here. But instead of them coming to kill you, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna let you and the rest of the council die. Yeah, I'm gonna sacrifice yous. Because who wouldn't do that? Am I right, guys and girls? But Mass Effect, probably everyone's favourite trilogy, right? And luckily for me, I actually played and beat it for the first time. Yes, for the first time. All the way back in last October, around November times. And let me tell you something, it is one hell of an experience, and I can see why this is one of the greatest RPGs and stories and games of all time. But one thing that really stood out to me, apart from the amazing characters, apart from the amazing lore and world building, which an element of what I'm about to say does sort of play into, and apart from the amazing sort of like music, is the villains themselves, the Reapers, who are the main antagonists of the overall trilogy. I literally think the way that they are handled and done and represented throughout the 3 games is absolutely perfect. And look, I get it. There's still going to be some people to this day who may still not be the biggest fan in terms of how the Reaper story ends, especially or how Mass Effect 3 in general ends. That's completely fine. Or how their origin story is put into a DLC, the Leviathan DLC. Yet again, all completely valid. But I kind of want to look at it in terms of all 3 games and how their presence and impact is felt throughout all, and how it kind of made me feel when I was playing the game. Because to me, as I said early on, I think the way they are sort of represented and structured, and when they do finally make that impact, I think it's perfect. Especially when you're setting up a sort of villain that is like a impending doom, an oncoming threat, and it's just there in the back of your mind as each game goes by. Because you can also feel that in Shepard's mind, that sort of panic, that sort of urgency, you know, like they're coming, the Reapers are coming, we need to do whatever we can. And I love it. And something that I actually find very fascinating is how early the Reaper's impact and presence is already felt in Mass Effect 1. Literally within the first 2 to 3 hours, not only do you feel their presence in terms of actually seeing a Reaper, I know at the time you think it's a ship called Sovereign, but that is an actual Reaper, and not only obviously with the connection with the Prothean/the Prothean beacons, but literally Tali, of all people, is the one to reveal literally within the first 2 to 3 hours that they're an ancient machine race. So already we kind of already know to a degree what they are, but with that it's planting a lot of questions, not only in my mind or the player's mind, but also Shepard's mind. Okay, so who created them? Where are they? What are they truly trying to do? How does this all connect? And obviously that's a mystery that carries on throughout all of Mass Effect 1. And I think for me, and what makes them really stand out is in different forms of media that we've seen all over the years, whether it's TV shows, movies, video games, anime, books, whatever you want to call it. Usually you kind of get your villains sort of structured in the same sort of way. And I mean, maybe not in terms of the villain themselves, but how they sort of like integrated into the narrative. So usually, you know, you'll focus and get perspective of your main character and the main supporting cast on like the good side, and then it will switch perspective to the villain side, and it kind of bounce back and forth, you know, until it leads into the final confrontation between the two. That's not saying that we don't get elements of that within the Reapers, but because they're this sort of mysterious, behind the curtain, lurking in the shadows threat. Because remember, a lot of the people in the galaxy of the Mass Effect universe do not believe in them, especially the Council. That's why you got to sacrifice them, get rid of them. But that's the thing though, isn't it? No one in the whole galaxy, apart from the Normandy crew, is actually listening or believing to what Shepard is saying. Like, as annoying as it could be, you can kind of understand where they're coming from, right? Because it's like, seriously, Shepard? Without actually any serious proof, you're telling me there's this random, ancient, mythical machine race out there going to come and kill us all? Please, like, don't be silly. It's nonsensical. And it's like, you kind of get frustrated with Shepard. And this is something that I absolutely love about Shepard as a character. When you kind of take sometimes some of the player choice out of it, Shepard does have their own sort of character. And these sort of moments when it comes to the Reapers and the acknowledgement and their existence, which you don't really have too much control of because it's always the same sort of like narrative for everyone in that aspect, you kind of feel what Shepard's thinking. You feel the urgency, you feel the panic, you feel the annoyance, right? And I have always looked at it where when we're doing certain quests or missions, which is not very Reaper related, because there's a lot of that obviously, because there's so much more to the universe than just the Reapers. I always kind of get the impression that in universe, in canon, all that's on Shepard's mind 24/7 is the Reapers. The Reapers are coming. How do we deal with the Reapers? We need to stop this threat. We need to stop Saren. We need to stop the Collectors. It's all part of the Reapers. Like, what does it all mean? Like, maybe I'm reading way too much into that, but I've always kind of viewed that, especially like the 2 times that I've played the trilogy now. And especially when you get to Mass Effect 3, I mean, Shepard's just going through it mentally and everything, right? And as I said, it's just a pure struggle in Mass Effect 3. Like, the Reapers come in full form and they're just literally just blowing everything up. As I said earlier, it's only until like the last 10 minutes of the overall game that we actually win, because we're losing for the first 99% of the whole entire game. I absolutely love it. But yeah, I love the Reapers. I think the way that they're handled, I think the way that they're structured and portrayed is great. Also, their voice. Wow, Sovereign, Harbinger, the Rannoch Reaper, oh my. They sound great. Yes, maybe their ending or certain aspects of what was cut or certain early concept ideas in terms of the direction that where they could have gone in could have been much better. We'll never know. Obviously, at the end of the day, it didn't happen. But yeah, you know, whether we ever see the Reapers return again, I don't know. Whether you would even want the Reapers to return again, I don't know. But I'm curious though. What do you think about the Reapers, right? Because someone who's a new Mass Effect fan, no doubt for all of yous, especially you OGs who played Mass Effect 1, 2 and 3 all on release, I bet the theories and the Reddit forums and YouTube videos back then were absolutely insane. Because there's a lot of mystery. And that's the thing, I love a good mystery, especially when it's broken up into like multiple parts or a trilogy or whatever it is, right? You don't really get too many games like that these days now, where there's this one big sort of like mystery and it's kind of spread across all 3 games and you're trying to figure it out as it goes, even though you are learning a lot. This is why I know this is a bit of a random sort of comparison, but this is why I love the Final Fantasy VII Remake project, because when you kind of look at it, a big part of it's a big mystery with like the whispers and all this other sort of crazy sort of like world timeline shenanigans stuff that's going on. But that's a story for another time. But I'm curious, what do you think about the Reapers? Do you like them? Do you hate them? What was the game or what was the moment where you really thought, whoa, okay, now this is getting serious. They are a proper threat. And what were your sort of theories at the time? How did you want it to end? Were you satisfied with the Reapers ending and their origins? Because I know some people are a little bit iffy with their origins in the Leviathan DLC. I'm going to be honest, I absolutely loved it. I thought the Leviathan DLC was absolutely great. I actually might make a video on that, by the way. I absolutely love everything to do with the Reapers. I love everything to do with Mass Effect. Like, I've just fell in love with it. Like, I just find it so fascinating. And I'm sorry if I'm glazing a bit too much here, but literally, it's just something I've become very passionate about. There's a lot of stuff I really want to talk about when it comes to the Mass Effect universe. So if that's something you'd like to see or hear, yeah, you know, just please let me know. But I appreciate anyone who does watch this video. And yeah, like I said, just please tell me in the comments, like, what do you truly think about the Reapers in general and the way that they're sort of structured within the narrative of the Mass Effect trilogy. And with that, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
We impose order on the chaos of organic evolution. You exist because we allow it, and you will end because we demand it.
There is an entire galaxy of races united and ready to face you.